Today our lecture is about the caffeine craze. The contents. History of caffeine. Caffeine applications, effects and addiction. Caffeine content in food. Caffeine addiction, tolerance and withdrawal. Benefits and risks. Conclusion. Caffeine is a natural stimulant that is found in various plants, including coffee beans, tea leaves, and cocoa beans. Its use dates back to ancient civilizations, with evidence of caffeine consumption found in the archaeological remains of indigenous cultures in South America. The first recorded use of caffeine in human history is attributed to the Ethiopian goat herder Kaldi, who noticed that his goats became more energetic after eating coffee berries. Caffeine was first isolated from coffee in the early 19th century, and its effects on the body and mind have been studied extensively since then. How caffeine affects energy levels. Caffeine is a stimulant that affects the central nervous system, leading to increased alertness and energy levels. It does this by blocking the action of adenosine, a neurotransmitter that promotes sleep and suppresses arousal. By inhibiting adenosine, caffeine increases the activity of other neurotransmitters such as dopamine and norepinephrine, which promote wakefulness and arousal. Caffeine has been shown to have several benefits for energy levels, including increased alertness and wakefulness, improved cognitive performance, such as reaction time and memory, enhanced physical performance and endurance. The recommended daily intake of caffeine for adults is up to 400 milligrams, which is roughly equivalent to 4 cups of coffee. However, individual tolerance and sensitivity to caffeine can vary, so it's important to listen to your body and adjust your intake accordingly. Consuming too much caffeine can lead to side effects such as jitteriness, anxiety, and insomnia, which can actually decrease energy levels. How caffeine can aid in weight loss. Caffeine has been shown to increase metabolism and fat oxidation, which can aid in weight loss efforts. Caffeine has been shown to suppress appetite, which can lead to decreased calorie intake and weight loss. Myth. Caffeine alone will cause significant weight loss. Myth. Caffeine can replace a healthy diet and exercise routine. Myth. Consuming large amounts of caffeine is safe and effective for weight loss. Caffeine is a popular performance-enhancing drug used by athletes to improve their physical performance and endurance. It is a stimulant that can help reduce fatigue, increase alertness, and improve reaction time. Caffeine works by blocking the action of adenosine, a neurotransmitter that promotes sleep and suppresses arousal. By blocking adenosine, caffeine can increase alertness, reduce fatigue, and improve cognitive function. It can also stimulate the release of adrenaline, which can enhance physical performance and endurance. Improved endurance. Caffeine can delay fatigue, allowing athletes to exercise for longer periods of time. Increased alertness and focus. Caffeine can improve cognitive function, reaction time, and mental alertness, which can be beneficial for athletes during competition. Reduced muscle pain. Caffeine has been shown to reduce muscle pain and soreness, which can improve recovery time after exercise. Caffeine can enhance cognitive performance by improving focus, attention, and reaction time. This is because caffeine increases the activity of the prefrontal cortex, a brain region involved in executive functions such as working memory, decision-making, and problem-solving. However, the effects of caffeine on cognitive performance may depend on individual factors such as genetics, tolerance, and dose. Caffeine is metabolized in the liver and broken down into compounds that can be excreted in urine. Caffeine can increase heart rate and blood pressure in some people, which can be problematic for those with heart conditions. Caffeine is a diuretic, which means it can increase urine production and lead to dehydration if consumed in large amounts. Caffeine can stimulate the production of stomach acid, which can cause digestive issues for some people. High caffeine intake has been linked to decreased bone density, which can increase the risk of osteoporosis and fractures. Caffeine can improve muscle endurance and reduce fatigue during exercise, making it a popular ingredient in sports supplements. Caffeine is known to enhance cognitive performance, including attention, focus, and alertness. It works by blocking adenosine, a neurotransmitter that promotes sleep and suppresses arousal, and increasing the levels of other neurotransmitters, such as dopamine, norepinephrine, and acetylcholine, that are involved in mood, motivation, and cognition. To get the most out of caffeine for focus, it's important to consider the timing, dose, and source of caffeine. Some tips include: timing. Caffeine takes about 30 to 60 minutes to reach peak levels in the bloodstream, so it's best to consume it before the desired effect, such as before a meeting, exam, or workout. Dose. The optimal dose of caffeine varies depending on individual factors, such as weight, tolerance, and sensitivity, but is typically around 100 to 200 mg per serving. It's important not to exceed 400 mg per day, as higher doses may lead to side effects, such as anxiety, jitters, and insomnia. Caffeine can interact with certain medications, either enhancing or reducing their effects. It is important to be aware of these interactions to avoid any adverse reactions or unintended consequences. Caffeine can enhance the effects of stimulant medications such as Ritalin and Adderall, which are commonly used to treat attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. However, combining caffeine with these medications can also increase the risk of side effects such as nervousness, jitteriness, and insomnia. Caffeine can reduce the effects of certain medications, including antidepressants such as fluvoxamine and fluoxetine, antipsychotics such as clozapine and olanzapine, anxiety medications such as alprazolam and diazepam. Caffeine can enhance the effects of stimulant medications such as Ritalin and Adderall, which are commonly used to treat attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. However, combining caffeine with these medications can also increase the risk of side effects such as nervousness, jitteriness, and insomnia. Caffeine can interfere with the absorption of certain antibiotics, such as ciprofloxacin and tetracycline, reducing their effectiveness. It is recommended to avoid consuming caffeine at least 2 hours before or after taking these medications. Caffeine can enhance the effects of bronchodilators, which are medications used to treat asthma and other respiratory conditions. However, combining caffeine with these medications can also increase the risk of side effects such as tremors and palpitations. Caffeine can interfere with the metabolism of estrogen, a hormone found in many birth control pills. This can lead to higher levels of estrogen in the body, increasing the risk of side effects such as blood clots and stroke. It is recommended to limit caffeine intake while taking birth control pills. Caffeine is a stimulant that can interfere with sleep. It works by blocking the action of adenosine, a neurotransmitter that promotes sleep and suppresses arousal. When adenosine levels are high, we feel sleepy. When they are low, we feel alert and awake. Caffeine prevents adenosine from binding to its receptors, which leads to increased arousal and wakefulness. The effects of caffeine on sleep can vary depending on the individual and the amount consumed. Some people are more sensitive to caffeine than others and may experience sleep disturbances even after consuming small amounts. Others may be able to consume large amounts without any negative effects on their sleep. The timing of caffeine consumption can also have an impact on sleep. Caffeine has a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours, which means that it takes about that long for half of the caffeine to be eliminated from the body. It can take up to 10 to 12 hours for all of the caffeine to be eliminated. Consuming caffeine too close to bedtime can make it difficult to fall asleep and stay asleep. Avoid consuming caffeine in the afternoon and evening. Limit caffeine consumption to no more than 400 mg per day, equivalent to about 4 cups of coffee. Be aware of hidden sources of caffeine, such as chocolate, tea, and some medications. Caffeine is a natural stimulant that can have a significant impact on mood. It is known to increase alertness, improve mood, and enhance cognitive performance. However, excessive caffeine consumption can also have negative effects on mood, such as anxiety, irritability, and restlessness. Caffeine can have a positive effect on mood by increasing alertness and reducing fatigue. This can lead to improved concentration and productivity, and can also enhance feelings of well-being. Studies have also shown that caffeine can improve mood by increasing the production of dopamine, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. Excessive caffeine consumption can have negative effects on mood, such as anxiety, irritability, and restlessness. This is because caffeine stimulates the central nervous system, which can lead to feelings of nervousness and tension. In some cases, excessive caffeine consumption can even lead to symptoms of depression. Caffeine is a stimulant that affects the nervous system, and its effects can be more pronounced in children due to their smaller body size and lower tolerance levels. Therefore, it is recommended that children consume caffeine in moderation or avoid it altogether. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends that children ages 4 to 6 consume no more than 45 milligrams of caffeine per day, while children ages 7 to 9 should consume no more than 62.5 milligrams per day. Adolescents ages 10 to 18 should limit their caffeine intake to no more than 100 milligrams per day. Consuming too much caffeine can lead to negative side effects in children, including restlessness, anxiety, insomnia, headaches, and increased heart rate. Additionally, consuming caffeine can interfere with children's ability to absorb certain nutrients and may affect their growth and development. Caffeine can be found in a variety of foods and beverages that are popular among children, including soda, chocolate, and some types of tea. Parents should be mindful of their children's caffeine intake and encourage them to choose caffeine-free options whenever possible. As we age, our bodies tend to metabolize caffeine more slowly, which can result in longer-lasting effects and increased sensitivity to caffeine. It is important for older adults to monitor their caffeine intake and adjust accordingly to avoid negative side effects such as insomnia, anxiety, and heart palpitations. Caffeine has been shown to have potential benefits for older adults, including improved cognitive function, reduced risk of Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease, and decreased risk of cardiovascular disease. Older adults should be cautious with their caffeine consumption, as it can exacerbate certain health conditions such as high blood pressure and osteoporosis. It is important to consult with a healthcare provider to determine an appropriate amount of caffeine intake based on individual health concerns and medications. Pregnant women are often advised to limit their caffeine intake due to its potential effects on the developing fetus. While moderate caffeine consumption is generally considered safe, high doses have been associated with an increased risk of miscarriage, preterm birth, and low birth weight. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists recommends that pregnant women limit their caffeine intake to 200 milligrams per day, which is roughly equivalent to 1 12-ounce cup of coffee. However, some experts suggest that even lower doses may be advisable, especially during the first trimester when the risk of miscarriage is highest. Caffeine can cross the placenta and affect the developing fetus, potentially leading to decreased fetal growth and increased risk of birth defects. Some studies have also suggested a link between high caffeine intake during pregnancy and an increased risk of childhood obesity and behavioral problems. Caffeine is found in a variety of beverages and foods, including coffee, tea, soda, chocolate, and some medications and supplements. Pregnant women should be aware of the caffeine content of these products and limit their intake accordingly. Caffeine is a popular ingredient in many dietary supplements, including weight loss supplements, pre-workout supplements, and nootropic supplements. These supplements often contain high doses of caffeine, sometimes in combination with other stimulants or ingredients claimed to enhance energy, focus, or athletic performance. Caffeine is often included in weight loss supplements due to its potential to increase metabolism and suppress appetite. However, the effectiveness of these supplements is debated and may come with risks such as increased heart rate and blood pressure. Caffeine is a common ingredient in pre-workout supplements due to its potential to increase energy and focus during exercise. However, high doses of caffeine can lead to negative side effects such as jitters, anxiety, and insomnia. It is important to follow recommended dosages and consult with a healthcare professional before taking any new supplement. Caffeine is also included in some nootropic supplements, which claim to enhance cognitive function and mental performance. However, the scientific evidence for these claims is limited and the long-term effects of high-dose caffeine use on brain health are not well understood. Caffeine has been a subject of study for its potential health benefits and risks. While moderate caffeine consumption is generally considered safe for most healthy adults, excessive intake can lead to adverse effects. Studies have suggested that moderate caffeine intake may have some potential health benefits, such as reduced risk of type 2 diabetes and liver disease, lower risk of certain cancers, such as liver and colorectal cancer, improved cognitive function and memory. Excessive caffeine intake can lead to a number of adverse effects, including insomnia and sleep disturbances, anxiety and jitters, increased heart rate and blood pressure. Coffee, the king of caffeine. Coffee is one of the most popular and widely consumed beverages in the world. It is made from roasted coffee beans and contains caffeine, which is a natural stimulant that can help increase alertness and improve mental and physical performance. The history of coffee dates back to the 15th century, when it was first discovered in Ethiopia. From there, it spread to the Middle East and eventually to Europe, where it became a popular drink in the 17th century. Today, coffee is enjoyed by people of all ages and cultures, and it has become an integral part of many societies and social gatherings. Caffeine content in coffee per 8-ounce cup. Drip coffee, 95 mg. Espresso, 63 mg. Instant coffee, milligram. Tea, a classic caffeinated beverage. Tea has been consumed for thousands of years, with its origins traced back to ancient China. It was initially used for medicinal purposes before becoming a popular beverage. Today, tea is enjoyed all over the world and is an important part of many cultures. There are several types of tea, including black, green, white, and oolong. Each type has a unique flavor and caffeine content. Black tea is the most popular type of tea worldwide and has the highest caffeine content, while green tea is known for its health benefits and lower caffeine content. The caffeine content in tea varies depending on the type and brewing method. On average, a cup of black tea contains 47 mg of caffeine, while a cup of green tea contains 28 mg. However, factors such as the type of tea leaves used, brewing time, and water temperature can affect the caffeine content. Soda, the caffeine contender. Soda is a popular carbonated beverage that often contains caffeine. The amount of caffeine in soda varies depending on the brand and type of soda. For example, a can of Coca-Cola contains 34 mg of caffeine, while a can of Mountain Dew contains 54 mg of caffeine. Other sodas, such as Sprite and Fanta, do not contain caffeine at all. The effects of caffeine in soda are similar to those of caffeine in other beverages. Caffeine is a stimulant that can increase alertness and improve mood. However, consuming too much caffeine can lead to negative side effects such as jitters, anxiety, and insomnia. It is important to consume caffeine in moderation and be aware of the caffeine content in the sodas you drink. Energy drinks, the new kid on the block. Energy drinks are a relatively new category of caffeinated beverages that have gained popularity in recent years. They are marketed as a way to boost energy and increase alertness, and are often consumed by young adults and athletes. Energy drinks typically contain high levels of caffeine, sugar, and other stimulants such as taurine and guarana. Some also contain vitamins and minerals, although the health benefits of these additives are often disputed. Energy drinks can have a number of effects on the body, including increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, and dehydration. They can also lead to insomnia, anxiety, and other mental health issues, particularly when consumed in large quantities or in combination with alcohol. Due to concerns about their safety and potential health risks, energy drinks are subject to regulation in many countries. In the US, for example, the FDA has set limits on the amount of caffeine that can be included in these beverages, and has required warning labels on some products. Chocolate, a sweet source of caffeine. Chocolate is a popular food that contains caffeine. It is made from the beans of the cacao tree, which contains theobromine and caffeine. The amount of caffeine in chocolate varies depending on the type of chocolate and the amount consumed. Dark chocolate contains more caffeine than milk chocolate, with an average of 12 milligrams of caffeine per ounce. It also contains antioxidants and is known to have health benefits when consumed in moderation. Milk chocolate contains less caffeine does not than dark chocolate, caffeine, with an average of 6 milligrams of which does not contain caffeine. It also contains more sugar for those who do not like it a sweeter and creamier option. Symptoms of caffeine addiction: headache, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, irritability, and depression. Caffeine addiction is common, with an estimated 90% of adults consuming caffeine daily. However, only a small percentage of individuals who consume caffeine develop an addiction. The most effective treatment for caffeine addiction is to gradually reduce caffeine intake over a period of several weeks. This can help to minimize withdrawal symptoms and make the process more manageable. Caffeine tolerance occurs when the body becomes less responsive to caffeine over time. This can lead to the need for higher doses of caffeine to achieve the same effects. Genetics: some individuals may be more or less sensitive to caffeine due to genetic differences. Age: as individuals age, their bodies may become less sensitive to caffeine. Gender: women may be more sensitive to caffeine than men due to differences in hormone levels. Reducing caffeine intake: gradually reducing caffeine intake can help to reduce tolerance and sensitivity to caffeine. Taking breaks from caffeine: taking regular breaks from caffeine can help to reduce tolerance and sensitivity to caffeine. Caffeine withdrawal is a set of symptoms that can occur when someone who regularly consumes caffeine suddenly stops or reduces their intake. These symptoms can include headache, fatigue, irritability, difficulty concentrating, and depressed mood. Caffeine withdrawal is relatively common, especially among people who consume large amounts of caffeine on a regular basis. Studies have estimated that up to 50% of regular caffeine consumers may experience withdrawal symptoms if they suddenly stop or significantly reduce their intake. Symptoms of caffeine withdrawal: headache, fatigue, irritability, difficulty concentrating, depression, and anxiety. The duration and severity of caffeine withdrawal can vary depending on factors such as the amount of caffeine consumed, the duration of caffeine consumption, and individual differences in metabolism. In general, symptoms can start within 12 to 24 hours of caffeine cessation and can last for several days to a week or more. Caffeine is a stimulant that is found in many foods and beverages, including coffee, tea, and energy drinks. While caffeine has been shown to have potential health benefits, it can also have negative effects on the body when consumed in excess. Moderate caffeine consumption, typically defined as up to 400 milligrams per day, has been linked to improved cognitive function, increased physical performance, and a reduced risk of certain diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. However, excessive caffeine consumption can lead to negative side effects such as insomnia, anxiety, and an increased heart rate. It is important to note that caffeine can interact with certain medications and supplements, such as antidepressants and blood thinners. It is recommended to consult with a healthcare professional before consuming caffeine if you are taking any medications or supplements. In conclusion, caffeine is a complex substance that can have both positive and negative effects on the body. Moderate caffeine consumption may have potential health benefits, but excessive consumption can lead to negative side effects. It is important to be aware of the potential risks and interactions with other substances when consuming caffeine. Thanks. You can find a link below in the description to download a free copy of the presentation. The link takes you directly to Google Drive. Please like, subscribe and write a comment. Please don't sell the presentation or upload the file to another websites, because it's copyrighted. So what is the next video? Write down in the comments section the topic of the presentation and the number of slides. See you in the next video. Presentations upon your request.